Hey friends, in this quick video we're going to take a look at the first set of content and display options in the focus skin. Specifically, we're going to look at the global layout elements and go over each one so you know what these options do. Alright, here we go. The first section here is your header, and on your website, this top area is your header. In Focus, in just a default Focus loadout, the header only contains two elements, your site title and your tagline, which you can control here. So you want to turn one of those off, you just click it, you hit save, you go check it out, and boom, you'll get the reaction you're looking for on the front end here. So let's actually turn that tagline back on, but you'll notice another option here for header image location. Well, obviously we are not currently using a header image, but if we were, I'll show you what this will do. So let's go take a look at that. So we're going to go over to our header image, and we can supply one of these guys here. I'll pick one from my library. Let's do this one. Alright, now we have a header image selected. Let's go check it out. Boom, okay, there we go. Now, we'll go back over to our content and display options. We'll return on that tagline like I said before. And so let's take a look again. Let's say we don't want our image there. Let's say we'd rather have it above the site title for whatever reason. For our customizations, we can select to move this to the top of the header. Now, by default, there's only two options here for the header image location, but programmers and professional customizers take note. These options here are easily filterable, so you could add your own locations wherever you want that header image to appear. You can provide that option here, right here in the content and display options, and make it easy for whoever's using using Focus to move this stuff around. And boom, there we go. There it is above the title and tagline now. So that's how that works. Next we have the Nav menu, and specifically, so you'll notice two things here. Hang on. So we've got full width Nav menu section. What is that? We'll take a look. And then you have the actual Nav menu itself. So let's look. Here is the default Focus Nav menu. This whole thing going all the way edge to edge on your browser, this is the Nav menu section. The Nav menu itself obviously is the Nav menu itself. So if you wanted, let's say you're like me and you are crazy about performance, and you know that the WordPress navigation menu introduces a few more queries on each page load, and you don't like that, you can get rid of the Nav menu but retain the full width Nav menu section. It'll just collapse into a single border here. So the section is still there. You could put whatever you want in that section. You could put a text box in there. You could hook in some code and have it render there. But the bottom line is, you can retain that section, which is sometimes quite handy, and even design that section, which we'll cover in a later video. But you can retain that and then just sub in your own nav menu. Let's say you've got some massive menu from a plugin, or maybe you've got some super efficient menu that's just some HTML. You can make that happen without having to rearrange things or do any crazy gymnastics. And then, like I said, if you just want to get rid of that completely, you can just kill it, and it will disappear, and now it's just the header going straight into the content. So that's how that works. And now the last of these global layout elements is the footer section. And by default, only the skin attribution is enabled in the footer. Let's take a look at that. Here it is. At the bottom it says, "This site rocks the focus skin for thesis." That text at the bottom, like I said, is what appears by default. But you can add a widget area to the footer, and also a text box. And also, if you want a WordPress admin link, I'm not going to do that. That's pretty self-explanatory. But let's save it and let's take a look. So if you enable the widget area and the text box in the footer, the widget area is right here, the text box is right here, and these two, it's important to note, these two things are completely undesigned. These are courtesies for you if you want to put a bunch of stuff in your footer. bunch of links, whatever you do in your footer. And the text box, kind of the same purpose. But anything you put in there, you will be responsible for adding the CSS customizations to make it look the way you want. Focus does not include any suppositional CSS, like, hey, I suppose you might want to do this, and so we'll go ahead and cover that. That is not the way Focus is built. Focus is built to be extremely minimalist. It doesn't include a whole bunch of stuff that you might use. That's the way a lot of other themes are built. And the way that ends up working out is that each person using this might only deploy like 8% of available styles, which means you've got 92% of waste being loaded on every page of your website. That is not how you win the performance wars. That is not how you optimize your site. It's just not a good way to proceed. So if you're ever wondering why certain stuff is not supported by default and why, crazy idiosyncratic outcomes aren't supported by default, that is the reason why. So anyway, one thing that's worth noting here in particular is about the text box. Whenever you enable a text box here in the display options, you also get an associated control or options page here at the bottom. So I can go in and edit the text box footer, and I can go say something like, hello, this is my footer text box, and then we can save it. And boom, maybe there it is. Hello, this is my footer text box. So that is an easy way, very easy way for you to convey, copyright text if you want, privacy policy link, anything like that, stuff that you commonly find in your footer. If you want to convey a little something down there, that's easy to do. It's also easy to hand code a nav menu, a list of links to stick down there if you wanted. You could also do that via widgets. I'm just saying this stuff is available for you to use, and the text box is particularly easy for adding, legal stuff or whatever you need in your footer. All right, that covers this video. In the next one, we will take a look at the content presentation options.